Hello, I'm RDavis and physical education teacher at Charlotte Central School. And this is, after working with Bill Rich, this is my version of a menu for students to use when they first come into the classroom.
Good. How's it work?
Basically, they come in from the locker room at different dribs and drabs coming into the class. And so this enables the kids that get here right away to get started instead of waiting for everyone to come out of the locker room. So they come to the first series of boxes, for example, the 7th and 8th graders, and they all wear heart rate monitors, which they're now pretty independent with, hooking up and getting started. So they know to look in the first box, their heart rate needs to be at the top of their zone, heart rate zone, which is 170 or above. And they need to stay for 4 minutes in that heart rate zone doing one of these activities of choice, which is a pretty high intensity aerobic workout. And then they go to the second box when they're done with that, and 4 minutes staying in the zone of 140 to 170, which is their target heart rate zone for the class. And they could choose one of their strength warm-ups. This week it was curl-ups and push-ups and crunches. And after those 4 minutes, they can do an activity warm-up for 4 minutes of their choice. So they're supposed to have 12 minutes of warm-up, and they have 16 minutes to get the 12 minutes in, because some of them are a little slower getting out of the locker room or getting their heart rate monitors going.
So how's it going? What's it been like transitioning to this?
It's great. It's great now. At the beginning, it was there was a little struggle with getting the kids to understand that they needed to choose from the boxes in this order. It was a little more directive. They couldn't go down to the activities first and stay with that. So, and then getting them to keep with the integrity of it. I wanted them to combine their heart rate monitor learning along with the warm-ups. And so it's great now that they know what to do and they're staying on task. And they really are not all, at first they were all choosing the same thing. So it's like, why do we have choices? Because everyone would do the same thing and they were kind of bunching up. But now if you look at the class, they're spread out all over doing whatever interests them, which is what I wanted them to do.
So, but it's really clear to me how what you've described makes a big difference in terms of what they're doing. How's it different for you? In other words, if you think about what it was like teaching before and how it is now, about the same or different? Or
it's much different. This portion, the warm-up portion of the class, is much different in that before I was with all of them and I was direct teaching all the time and we were doing everything together and it was all on my go or my instruction. And we were having a conversation earlier that it's a little more lonely for me because they're all doing it without me, but they're all, as I walk around and look and maybe correct some form, but they're all on task and they're chatting, and it's just a new style of learning for me as well. But
okay.
I think they like it. I think they like having choices. And so when they know that the board's going to change, they come in and they look at the board like, what do we have this week? Or what's different on the board this week? So that's kind of fun for them when they first come in. You want them to come in the door and be excited to be here. So they like that part.
Great. This is exactly what I wanted to know. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to say, or if you're thinking, okay, if other teachers are watching this, like, is there anything that you'd like to convey about what it's like to do this? Or
I think that it is, as we were talking earlier, it's more work for me up front to really be creative and think how to mix this up, and I have to keep track, and I'm also keeping track of if kids are picking the same choices all the time, and that's a little bit more work, so I have made new little symbols in my grade book for when I see that somebody's always doing basketball, and am I okay with that? I have to think about that. Am I okay if somebody is always jogging? And I have to think about what the purpose is of what I want them to be getting out of it. So that's been a process for me too.
So this is my one curveball question, and don't worry because I can take it out. But whenever somebody shares stuff, I think of something. So if I'm a teacher looking at this, I can predict maybe one of my reactions. This looks great. But this is a big class, PE, they can go all over, be noisy. I'm nervous about doing something like this in a regular classroom. This is a curveball because you might say, yeah, I'm stumped too. That's okay if you do.
Not the gymnasium.
Yeah, but in other words, if a classroom teacher is considering this, can you see ways that this would really be workable and usable in a regular classroom?
I do. I can see a lot how this would be usable, but you have to have confidence in your students and be okay with organized chaos, because you don't have total control and it changes and switches, and it's not about me directing it. And so long as they understand this is the important part, what I want them to get out of this, and the vehicle that they use to get there, I'm willing to let some of that go.
Wow, you good with curveballs because you hit that out of the park. That was awesome.
Good? Oh, good.